Well, hello there. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Angela and I'm the Inquisitive Farmwife. And boy, have I got a fun video for you today. It is Noodle November, twisted pasta. Tony over at Kettle Kitchen is hosting Noodle November, but this year the theme is twisted pasta. Well, you can take that as the spirally ones, you know, the twisted curly Q pigtail type, but I'm kind of going with a little bit more of twisted as in unusual, unique, and different. So today what we're going to do is we're going to make a pasta that has no sugar, no grain, and I believe that you can consider it keto, gluten-free, not your typical egg pasta that is made with your all-purpose flour. So I looked into keto type, gluten-free type, non-grain type pastas. And what I came up with was several of them. You had to let them sit overnight or even up to several days before you could use them. Or if they were instant, they were more just cheese. They just kind of tasted like cheese rather than pasta. So we're going to try something new together. So come on in. I'm so excited to have you here. And this is something we're going to be able to eat today. So no waiting. Let's get to it. Got you all at a different angle today. I'm hoping that this makes it so that you can see both me and the counter. We'll see how it goes. I'll do my best. Stick around. Let's get some pasta made. So I found this recipe online, of course. I will link it down below so that you can follow along and make it yourself at home. I no longer have a food processor. Mine died several Thanksgivings ago. It was a sad, sad day. I used to make my butter and everything in there. Now I use my Vitamix for a lot of that kind of stuff, so I'm hoping that this is going to work. Fingers crossed that this happens. If not, we're going to learn together whether or not to do it this way or not, right? Okay. So if you have a food processor, this would be the time to get that out. But you know what? If you don't have the gadgets, don't fear. You can make this by hand. It'll just take you a little bit longer. No worries. Okay, so I had to do my conversion. I don't have this. I don't know where my scale went, so I had to ask, Google Pants. And we're going to put a cup of almond flour, but if you have your scale and you're following along, it'll be 96 grams. But with pastas, usually you can kind of mess around just a little bit because you can add extra water if you need to. Coconut flour. Have you ever made anything with coconut flour before? I have not really worked with coconut flour much. To be truthful, almond flour, I'm pretty new to it too. And I'm pretty sure the conversion for grams was only about 1/8 of a cup. We'll see how that goes. I did wonder if, I have a feeling the pasta will be a little bit nutty, which I am okay with. But I wasn't sure about the coconut, but it sure smells good. To that, we're going to add another new to me ingredient, but something I've been wanting to use to help make my homemade ice cream a little more store-bought, and that is xanthan gum. I have pure xanthan gum. Make sure that you check the labels on stuff. Sometimes fillers are added to so many things that we don't expect. And I did not realize that that was the case with xanthan gum. Evidently, it's a thing. When I open new packages, I like to leave just a little bit of the packaging there so that you can get a nice even measurement. Now, if I wanted to read on there, there is a scoop in there, and I'm sure that it's like a tablespoon or something, but I need 2 teaspoons of that, so I'm just going to use this to measure today. We'll add that in there, and then we just need a fourth of a teaspoon of salt and I like using pink Himalayan sea salt, but you do you, boo. We're just going to give this a quick little whir. Just wanted to make sure everything was blended really well. And while this is running, we need to add 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Have you ever put that in pasta? I haven't. Okay, now, well, let's go ahead and add, it calls for 1 egg, but I've got some really small ones here, so we're going to go ahead and use up to 3. Isn't that the teeniest, tiniest, cutest little egg you ever did see? Let's peek inside. I don't think we're going to need to add the water. It does tell you to have a couple teaspoons of water on hand. It needs to be a wet, sticky dough. I don't want it any wetter than this. Nope, I don't. So next it says to go ahead and put it in some saran wrap. I like zippy bags. Do whatever works for you. And this is where maybe a food processor would be a little bit better, or I could have possibly doubled the mix and maybe it would have worked slightly better. Who knows? But I want to pull this out. Let's take a deeper look. Looks like pasta to me. What do you think? Would you have added more water? I just don't think I want to. I think because I used the extra egg, that makes the difference. Just a guess. Another little twist on this pasta, if you've been making your own homemade gluten-free or keto style pastas, many of them call for you to bake the pasta and then cut it. You don't have to bake this today. Okay, so we got it all out. We put it in our plastic bag, and now we get to treat it like a stress ball. And we're just going to squeeze it and push it and make sure everything is all good and mixed together. And, you know, any daily frustrations you had today, that's what this is going to be really good for. But while I do this, let me tell you a little bit more about Noodle November. So there are at least one channel every single day putting out a video. So here we are, the 21st. You have that many more plus videos to go check out and see. I'll have a playlist down below in the description box that you can go check it out. And then there's going to be a bunch more videos after me for the rest of the month of November. Don't you think November is just the perfect time to start making these comfort foods, these delicious home-cooked warm foods? I don't know about you, but it's cold here in Northeast Kansas today, and I'm craving something comforting. So pasta was perfect. And if that isn't enough for all of you guys, if you know Tony, he loves to give away prizes. So make sure that on December 3rd, you go check out his live, and you could win prizes by making comments on all these amazing videos and attending the live. He'll give away some hashtag comments too. So this, now that we have squeezed and pressed and did all the things, I'm just going to kind of shape it into a ball, because that's what I do with pasta. I shape it in a ball. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it rest just like you would any other pasta. It's just in the refrigerator instead on the counter. Now, while our pasta is resting in the fridge, let's go ahead and make a quick bechamel white sauce for our pasta. Oh, and yeah, no, There'll be no flour in this one either. I got this recipe off of a ebook that my husband downloaded. I'm going to turn this on about a medium heat. Half a stick of butter, because butter makes it better. We're going to get this started and let this melt. I've got myself one of these whisks that have plastic coating on them, just because I do not want to run this pan. It's actually little story time. My son, this is his pan for his foods. He has his own cabinet up there where he keeps all his own dishes and everything in. Well, he's been loving using my cooktop here on the counter, because then two people can be cooking at the same time. It's really nice. However, he was using his dad's pan and broke it. So now we're using his. Funny stuff. But anyway, we're going to let this butter melt down. I won't make you watch the whole thing. I'll either shut this off or we'll fast forward through it. But once this is melted, I'll show you. It's just going to come together so quick. Instead of flour, what we're using today, arrowroot. If you are not familiar with that, it works really well for, like, if you want to make pie filling. It's a good thickener. So if you don't want to use flour or cornstarch, if you are on a special diet, then this works great. So just like a cornstarch or a flour, you're going to want to cook it just a little bit. And you're going to want to make what's called a roux. And if you hear the microwave in the background, that is because I'm warming up my milk. That is a little trick for you when you are making gravies and sauces, that if your milk is warm before hitting the pan, it'll make it a lot faster. So here I've got 2 1/4 cups of warmed milk. And we're going to add this. Oops, better pay attention to what I'm doing. Go ahead and salt and pepper to taste. And you're probably wondering, why are you making it so soon? Well, that's because I want to also use this pan to cook our pasta in. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cook up some sausage too. Normally I would do the sausage first and have that extra fat of the sausage in this bechamel sauce or your gravies that you make. But I actually want to have this separate today, and I'll show you why in just a little bit, so make sure you stick around. I'm just going to stir this and thicken it. It is already starting to thicken. You just want to make sure that your milk is not going to scorch. It'll probably need to simmer maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I will try to zoom in here. You can see it has really started to thicken, especially in the middle. And I think that is all the thicker I want this to be. Although, if it gets too thick, it's nothing to worry about. All you need to do is add a little bit more milk. And I may have to do that when we go to put the whole dish together. But look at this. I'm going to shut that off. Voila. Thick. We have a thick sauce without any grains. Who would have thought? Arrowroot. So now I'm just going to pour my sauce into another pan so I can wash this up and do the next step of our delicious twisted noodle pasta. Well, I've got my pan warming up over here. Let's talk just a little bit about the sausage. We thought we wanted a little protein with this. My husband's really been craving a pasta dish with a white sauce, and he wanted big chunks of sausage. And so I'm going to make that happen today. But when we were looking for the sausage, we were going to just grab Italian sausage. You have to read the ingredients on every single thing. The second ingredient was sugar in the brand that we both had picked up at a little less of a price. So make sure you're reading those labels, folks. You never know what's in this stuff. And when you're trying to cut back on, say, sugar, having it as a second ingredient wasn't really what we wanted to purchase. So hopefully this pan is hot. I'm going to flip our sausage out onto our pan. And then here in the middle, make sure you have a little fat. It's not a super fat meat, so I did add a little bit to that. And we like onions a lot. I'm going to put quite a few onions in there just to taste, and then some mushrooms too. Why? Because I think it sounds good. Do I have a recipe for you to follow? No, just do what I do, or don't. I'm going to take these mushrooms and put them into smaller pieces. These are sliced. I had pre-sliced ones, and I decided I didn't want sliced. I want chunks, so I'm taking my slices and putting them into chunks. That's a fun little tip for you. If you take the time to prep your food, maybe when you purchase it or within a day or two of it, then you have sliced and diced fruits and vegetables ready to go for whatever recipe you need it for. It's just a time-saving technique to help you from going through the drive-thru or getting a frozen pizza. You can have healthy alternatives if you just take a little bit extra time. You and your family deserve to get to have a delicious home-cooked meal. I wish you could smell my house. Yeah. That umami from those onions and mushrooms and that sausage was seasoned amazingly. But if you want to just use hamburger or chicken, you can season it with whatever flavors you like. Drain off the fat and put it in a container. Just set it aside. You'll want that fat for cooking these pasta noodles, so don't get rid of it. And grab yourself some butter. You may need that too. Okay, pasta has rested, and it is time to make some noodles. I'm just going to pinch some of this off. I am going to roll it and twist it and then set it aside. And I'll just keep doing that. You just make yourself a little snake. Okay. And then we'll just kind of twist it. And there we have it. You can make your pasta whatever shape you want. If you have a gnocchi board, this works perfect for that. If you find that it's getting just a little too sticky for you, you can put a little butter on your hands and that will help keep it from sticking. You can use coconut flour for dusting. Just make the pasta whatever size and shape you desire. I almost forgot, guys. You're supposed to put this in the freezer for about 15 minutes. But if you lose track of time and you want to make something in advance, no worries. This can actually be in the freezer for weeks. See you later. Okay, so it has been more than 15 minutes. Obviously, it's dark outside now, but we are ready for supper. And what I did is I've got a little bit of fat in the pan. Use whatever you want. The original recipe for the pasta suggests that you use butter, but I've got a little leftover grease from when we sauteed those onions and mushrooms and the sausage. And this is just set out maybe 1 minute. We're going to, lost a piece. We're going to go ahead and pan fry this up like you would say gnocchi. I just want to kind of spread this out, making sure that all the bits reach the pan. And we've got that fat in there. Like I said, you could use butter, you could use lard, you could use tallow, whatever your choice. Olive oil, I'm sure, would be perfectly fine too. So we'll just kind of saute this up and get it nice and warm. Speaking of getting warm, in the microwave, I went ahead and warmed up the bechamel sauce and our sausage so that since I had to put it in the refrigerator since I got sidetracked for the day, and now we're back at it, I want everything kind of warm again. Ooh, almost waited a little too long on that one. Some of them are a little bit burnt. These are probably good to go. So I'll shut this off. And there are 3 of us eating tonight, so I'm going to divide it 3 ways. Our bechamel sauce has gotten a lot thicker, so definitely I did add a little bit of milk to it, but I think that if we have any leftover, which I think we will, we definitely have to add to it again because it's really more like a thick gravy at this point. And then we'll add some meat mixture. I'm going to go ahead and top this off with a little bit of Parmesan. If you have fresh Parmesan, obviously that's going to taste better. It's going to be better for you. You have to be really careful because of the things that they can add to it. You know, potato starch and things like that are sometimes added to cheeses to keep them as an anti-caking agent. So if you are being cautious about that kind of stuff, just beware of those ingredients again. But I will meet you all at the table and we'll see what the farmer says. Does it give you that craving of the pasta that you were missing? Does it hit that?
It's good, but I don't know that it tastes like pasta.
Okay. I think it has good flavor. It definitely doesn't have the texture that you would expect typically from pasta, like he said. But I mean, it's good, especially if you have not had any of this kind of stuff in a while. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm so glad that you guys are all here with me while we went on this journey together. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.